Welcome back to our episode. Ryan here with Chaos MMA. And today we have on Orion Cosce. Orion, man, how you doing after that great one against Blood Diamond at UFC 277?
Oh, I feel good. I feel good. Just taking the time, doing like one or two sessions a day, not too much. Just more so still focused on recovery after that weight cut and just making sure I'm not overtraining after something like that. But I feel good, been enjoying myself and can't wait to get back in there.
Yeah, I'm sure you're excited to get back in there. We'll talk about that later on. But I wanted to ask you, I know it's about almost like a month since your win, but does it still feel great because, that was a little layoff for you. You went back in there on a big pay-per-view card and you got the job done. Like, does it still feel kind of great after that?
Yeah, no, it definitely feels good. As people have told me, like they even said, like I looked happy and excited to be back in there, especially in front of a crowd. So ain't nothing like fighting in front of a crowd. So it reminded me of like fighting back home. Whereas the Apex, we didn't really have fans. So this felt a lot better to have a crowd. I definitely performed better with the crowd.
Yeah, I'm always curious how fighters like crowd, no crowd. I see how they mostly like the crowds more. And now we know with the fight, it did get delayed twice. Did this help in a sense though? You did get to train more for him, you get the style more, kind of study it more, or did you just kind of want to get in there and fight Blood Diamond? Like, how did it feel with the fight getting delayed?
Uh, Honestly, dude, I'm not one of those fighters that tries to overanalyze shit. Like, you
Yeah.
never know what a fighter's going to come out and actually do when it comes to the fight time. We knew he was a kickboxer. He'd want to do his best to keep the fight standing. And so a majority of his fighting style was to keep the fight standing, which he did a good job in some parts. But it's one of those things where I didn't really care too much about trying to like predict what he's going to do. I had to go in there and find my best fight. And that's exactly what I did. I went in there with a game plan for myself, not for a game plan for him. Like I focused on myself the whole entire camp. So
Yeah, and does that kind of help you more just having a game plan for yourself? Because you see with like other fighters, they have a specific game plan for the other guy, and then it kind of goes out the window when the fight starts. Does that kind of help you having your own game plan and stuff?
yeah, and then when I'm out there, I don't even think. I just do. So it helps when I'm not in there with an injury. Like I just had a really bad weight cut and I was sick from the weight cut and stuff like that. But it wasn't like I was fatigued from injury like I was my last fight. So it was definitely easier to push through. And it was funny because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I got to work on the gas tank." It's like gas tank wasn't a problem with the last fight. I got caught. Like anyone who gets caught with a fucking punch and you keep fighting, like yeah, it's gonna be a little bit hard to recover. So, but I proved I can go all 3 rounds. Bad weight cut or injury doesn't matter. But I definitely have fun in there, and then I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah. Well, it seems like we're gonna see you back there soon. And like you're walking out UFC 277, such a stacked card. What are you feeling with all these fans screaming? Like, how does it feel walking out during a pay-per-view card? What did it feel like to come back to that?
Oh, dude, it was awesome. It was just awesome to fight in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
It's definitely enjoyable. That's why I was smiling the entire time because I was just happy to be able to put on a show in front of fans.
Yeah. And did the walk feel even better since it was a year since your last fight to come out there on this card and then go out there and get the job done? Like, did that even feel better with this fight?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was definitely awesome to go out there and get the win.
Yeah. And everyone was talking about, Blood Diamond's stand-up game going into the fight, how he trains with Adesanya and everything else. Did you hear about all this, or you kind of pushed that to the side, just focused on yourself and just did your thing? Because we saw you did your thing in the cage.
People say whatever they want to say, and most of the people that are talking are people who've never trained in their life. So I really don't give a shit what the internet guys say.
Yeah.
But I got a chance to talk to Blood Diamond, Adesanya, and Volkanovski and their team after the fight, and we have nothing but respect for each other in our respective camps. So they're good people.
Yeah.
Don't really care what the internet fans say. They can say whatever they want. Uh, if anyone has a problem with the way like I hold myself, fuck them.
Yeah. Yeah, do you try to just like push that to the side, like all the media, like saying that stuff, like the fans online trying to give you hate after like a fight? You just kind of push that all to the side.
Yeah, because I don't really care too much. The only time I'll say anything, like if they're talking about me, I don't care. I've always said that.
Yeah.
But if they like involve my family and friends in the conversation, then I let them know I can easily find their IP address and exactly tell them where they and their family live.
Yeah.
So I have no problem letting people know, like, don't talk shit about my family, my friends, culture, any of that. If you guys want to keep it between me and you, you're more than welcome to do that. As soon as you do that, I'm gonna let you know like you're not as tough as you think online. You're easy to be found and have your face punched in multiple times.
Yeah, I try. I can't stand how like after you see like a fighter, you go to their comments and people just trashing them after a loss. It's like screw up and stuff. But speaking of your performance, you went out there, you did your thing. Wrestling looked good. Your striking looked good. You get the decision win. How would you rate your performance? How did you feel about the performance overall?
I still need to watch it again. So it was one thing to go out there and win it, but I still need to go back and watch it. Each time I've watched it, I keep having people in my ear every time. So like I just need to find time to where I can just sit down by myself because then I'll have like people walk up and be like, "Oh, like right here, you should." I'm just like, "Dude, just shut up. I'm trying to watch the fight. Like this is like me watching another fight. Just stop talking." You've already talked about the fight. I've already gotten to talk to people about the fight, but I want to be able to just watch it by myself to analyze it. But during the fight, there was some parts where I definitely feel like I could have did a little bit better. Whether or not like the weight cut was holding me back a little bit, but no excuse on that part. I feel like there was parts with the wrestling I could have did better, or even the striking, vice versa. But I felt like I did a really good job with. He landed a really good knee to the body, and I felt my rib pop out. And then when he went for the body clinch, I felt it pop back in. So I was like, "Oh man, good, awesome." And I let him know that too. I was like, "Dude, you had me hurt right there. Like I felt my rib pop out," and he's all, "Damn." I was like, "Yeah." So when you grabbed me, it popped right back in. I was able to just keep back going. So there's some things that he could have done differently, but I also feel like he was respecting my hands and my power a little bit more than people give because I hit hard. I do. I hit hard. I have knockout power, and I'm not trying to swing super hard every time. But if I land, I got heavy hands. I got heavy leg kicks, heavy knees. So he uh he definitely did a good job with the striking. Though he's a very decorated kickboxer, and you could see that in his fight. So he was trying to throw some different stuff. His style is very unique, so he was definitely trying to use that to take his advantage.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like I could have did a little bit better with my own striking as well. So, I mean, I'm always trying to critique myself that way in a positive manner or a negative manner, so I can make sure I'm working to be a better fighter in the future.
Yeah. Well, you got the job done and everything, and like you said with the strike, would you say he was your toughest opponent yet to this date?
It's always hard to say that because every opponent's going to be your toughest opponent today,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's one of those things where each opponent, as I get into the sport more and more, each opponent's going to get tougher and tougher. You know, Phil in the first round, I was able to use my wrestling. I was dominant with it. And then the second round, my arm's doing more numb. But it was hats off to him because he landed that clean strike as I was coming in. That dazed me, but then I'm rocking him. So now we're both going back and forth until finally he sat me on my ass and the ref stopped it. So I'd have to say the toughest fight so far was that one because he was super tall. He had a long reach, so that was probably my toughest fight by far. But that fight with not Matt Dixon, but there was another fight I had with Wally Wester. That was a really fun one too. He was hard headed. He was a tough guy to finish, but I'd have to say like as of like my more fun fights, this recent one was one of my more fun fights because we were both super respectful about it. We were out there having fun, understanding like we're trying to knock each other out or submit each other, but we also respect each other. So it was cool to have that camaraderie shared inside the cage and being able to talk about it afterwards as well.
Yeah, it's always amazing seeing the respect afterwards and everything. And it was a great fight to watch. I can tell you that watching that live. And you said we might get see you back in there soon. When do you think we see you back in there? Is there a specific date you're looking at? MSG in November, something like that. What are you looking at right now?
My wife wants me on that card since it's her birthday weekend. So
Okay.
UFC can get me on that card. I can take her to New York for her birthday weekend and all that stuff and be able to put on a performance out there. Um, I know that the CDC and science has decided that you don't need a vaccine anymore, so that's pretty cool. I already got the vaccine, unfortunately, because I was supposed to fight Singapore, but it is what it is. But I just find it funny now that all of a sudden, we were supposed to listen to the science, but now the science is saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter. You don't have to quarantine if you got COVID anymore." So,
Yeah.
yeah. When it comes to New York, I'd like to fight New York, especially if the family and friends can just go out and support. I know some states have their differences in what they are doing for COVID or monkeypox and stuff like that. But I mean, the world's got to realize you got to move on. You got to live life. And if you want to go to a sporting event, go to a sporting event. If you're scared of getting sick, stay home. It's that simple.
Yeah, that is true and everything. I couldn't agree more what you just said. And
MSG would be great though.
yeah, MSG, Oliveira on that card. Everyone's gonna be tuning in. MSG, iconic. Like, but do you have like a specific opponent in mind, or you just anyone for you?
Whoever the UFC gives me. I mean, I've already talked with my management about that. That's why the UFC and my management like me, is because I'm not the guy who picks and chooses my opponent. They literally will tell me an opponent, and I'll be like, "Cool, awesome, sign it up." And they'll be like, "Well, do you want to do some research on the guy?" I'm like, "Dude, sign it up. I can do my research after we sign the dotted lines."
Yeah. I love it. I love it, man. I can't wait to see you back in there. I'm sure your fans can't wait to see you back in there. And last thing, this is a new thing I want to do. If you have time, be great. It's a new segment I add. I just ask you 10 random questions for the people to get to know you more. And whatever comes to your mind, you just say. Do you have time to do it?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, just going to start off 10 questions. So, favorite food?
Ooh, ooh, that's tough. I'd have to say some sort of pasta. I like doing homemade gnocchi. My
Yeah.
grandpa taught me how to make gnocchi when I was just a little kid. So when I make homemade gnocchi,
Yeah.
my family and friends, they know I don't mess around in the kitchen. So I like doing that or surf and turf. It used to be stir fry used to be my favorite back when I was in high school and a kid. But favorite food nowadays would have to either be gnocchi, homemade, or surf and turf. It's a toss up between the two. I really like seafood and I really like pasta.
Yeah. That both sounds good. I like that. I like that. Favorite movie?
Oh, damn. That's also a toss up. It's
That both.
either honestly, I don't really have a favorite movie per se, but I do have like favorite movies from each genre. So
Okay.
like when I was growing up as a kid, like The Goonies was my favorite movie. That's a classic. I can always run back to that. Like the John Wick trilogy, I can always run back to that. Nobody was great. So like I like action movies, horror movies, comedies, and stuff like that. So I think it's more so I just like the genres in general. But one movie I can always go back to is The Goonies. It's just a fun adventure movie. So
Yeah, Goonies is a classic. Can't go wrong with that one. And next one, favorite hobby?
just favorite hobby I would have to say is just being active. So like wrestling for sure is number one. But I just like being outdoors. So just being active, being outdoors. Um, yeah. So favorite hobby would have to be outdoor activities.
Okay.
I can't just put it into one again because I like doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And last few things here. Favorite candy? You got any favorite candy?
I don't really eat candy too much, but if I had to choose a favorite candy bar, damn, it can be any candy.
Any candy? Yeah, any candy. Whatever you want. Whatever you like the best.
Hey, yeah, I don't really eat candy too much, man. I quit eating candy a long time ago, and I'll have it like once in a great blue moon. So maybe like a Snickers or a Babe Ruth. Babe
Okay.
Ruth's pretty good. So maybe a Snickers or a Babe Ruth.
Okay. And favorite UFC fighter growing up?
Favorite UFC fighter growing up. Let's see. Favorite UFC fighter growing up changed through time. I was always a huge Rampage Jackson fan. I was also a huge Anderson Silva, all those guys. So I was a fan of like all the older guys like Chuck Liddell, Carlos Newton, a lot of those guys. But I grew up watching Pride as well, so it's kind of hard for me to pick my favorite fighter.
Yeah, all those
But
guys. Yeah,
yeah, I was a huge fan just in general of a lot of fighters. Like, I just liked watching fights, and I think that's one of the reasons I got into fighting.
yeah. All those guys you mentioned, legends of sport. I'll enjoy them all. And last two things here. Favorite animal?
Mm. Pandas are cool, dude. Pandas are
Panda.
just
Yeah.
pandas. I like pandas. They're just chaotic. They don't care. Like they're super chaotic. They just chill. They chill all day, and then they just get all crazy. Like no matter what they're doing, it's like the craziest thing. Like they're endangered for a reason.
Yeah. No, yeah,
So
panda. Yeah.
I'd have to say a panda. Like any type of bear is pretty cool. So I'd go with that.
Okay. That's yeah, good one there. And last one. What's more satisfying to you? A knockout win, like a quick knockout win, or a dominant 3 round, 5 round decision?
I mean, it's always cool to get like a dominant 3 round fight or just dominate the whole entire time. But we're not paid to fight 3 rounds. We're paid to fight however long we can get the fight finished. So a quick knockout's always going to be your best friend.
I like it. Well, I'm sure that's gonna help people get to know you more. Thanks for doing the segment. I really do appreciate you're the first one I did it with. And for you, thanks again for your time. Appreciate it. If you want to thank any sponsors, shout out any social media, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, my boy Luis Lindo for Get Right. He's always hooking it up good. He's taking care of me and my brother. And then Get At, best ass throwing in all of Placer County, and they're expanding right now too, so they got that coming up. But I definitely just want to thank all my family and friends for all the support. Obviously, my management, Jason and Jacob, always helping me out, taking care of me. My coaches, my corners, pretty much all my teammates. And then, yeah, also have to give some love to my wife. She's always helping me out. Like if I can't cook or something like that because I'm busy with training or work, she's always taking care of me cooking. Even though I made her a promise at our wedding that I would always cook. Um, yeah, no. So if anyone's looking to sponsor though, like definitely want to give Humboldt County a chance first. But definitely got to thank the UFC for keeping me on the roster, giving me another chance, and then hopefully they can get me on another big card, not an in-house card, because I like fighting in front of fans.
Yeah. I hope we get to see you MSG in November. It'd be great to see you, man. But thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Awesome. Take care.